I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, January the 13th, brought to you in part by Norbrook. Norbrook's generic pharmaceutical products are equal to name brands in active ingredients, strength, dosage, and method of administration, making it convenient for producers to use. For more information, go to norbrook.com. Which way are we going? And that's what a lot of people were asking me on Wednesday, and I don't know which way to tell them. Are we going up? Are we going down? You know, we talked for the last several months about how the first quarter of 2022 we had an opportunity to gain more ground in your fat cattle arena because we're short of market-ready supplies. Packers were going to be wanting to increase chain speeds, but now that we're here, what have we got? We've got more COVID fears. And we've got your packers talking more about having trouble keeping your laborers there, and I don't know how much of that's true. Yeah, there's a certain extent of it that's true, but it wouldn't be any worse than any other winter in history when we talked about influenza or the common cold or whatever. You know, there's going to be people that are out. But if you look at the slaughter, I mean, it's cranking up there above what it was last week and close to what it was a year ago. But anybody that's talked to a packer buyer or somebody in the procurement office, it's a broken record. All they want to talk about is how, well, if we can keep this place open, if we can keep it going, we're gonna need some cattle if we can keep it going. But you know, if we can't keep the doors open, if we can't keep these workers in here, we're not going to be able to keep slaughtering. Yeah, okay, we've heard enough of that. But which way are we going to go? You know, your sellers have got to put their heels in the ground. We've already sold our fat cattle, a bulk of them this week, $1 to $3 lower for no reason whatsoever. While box beef cutout values are going up in leaps and bounds every day. But your yearling feeder cattle, and they've been cheaper ever since the holidays. They've been backing up. April, even though it's up there at a pretty good premium, it doesn't do guys any good anymore to hitch their wagon to April if they're trying to protect themselves on current purchases of feeder cattle. But on Wednesday, your yearling feeders sold better, and not just in one or two places. They sold better everywhere. Was that just because corn backed just under $6 a bushel? It wasn't that much cheaper, but it did fall under $6 a bushel on your March contracts. I wouldn't think it would have caused that big of a change in what their bids were for feeder cattle, but your feeder cattle sold better all over the country on Wednesday, and significantly better. Of course, calves continue to sell well. We're seeing lots of big consignments and reputation deals of calves selling all over, and they're bringing big prices. And if you look out front, you know, it does look like it's going to get better, but it's got to get better to be better. And if we don't take advantage of the opportunities to be better, how's it going to get that way? So I'm not sure which way we're going, but we're kind of at a crossroads right now, and we need to start moving forward. If there ever was a year that we needed a source for cheap gain, it would be this year, and there's just none out there. There's no grazing out there. Our winter wheat pasture is non-existent. Most of your stockpiled grass is being eaten by cows, or it's already gone. People don't have any hay. There's some people out there with some silage, and if they know how to do it and keep those cattle fairly green, you know, and that's an oxymoron, being green on silage, but if they can just keep from burning them up on it and help those cattle along, they can put some pounds on cattle with some stockpiled silage. If they don't pour too much to them, and if they've got some kind of a roughage that they can feed them where they don't get too fleshy and can keep doing well. But let's talk about your board for Wednesday. February live cattle futures were back down $1.10 at 136.57. Our weighted average may not be far from that because we've lost so much ground, 136.57. April live cattle contracts down 67 cents at 140.52. Go on your back months, and they were down 60 cents to up 37 cents, so fairly mixed there. January feeder cattle were down just 20 cents at 161.87, and they're just kind of starting to jostle right in there with what your index prices are, and there's not a lot of trade in that spot January contract there. But you go to the next month, March, and it was down $1.32 at 165.02, still trading at a pretty good premium, but that's going to go away. We get a few more days of this big down on there. But your back months, your feeder cattle contracts were down 10 cents to down $1.35, so they were all lower. As I mentioned earlier, your corn did drop on March contracts below $6 a bushel, but that wasn't that much lower. It wasn't a wreck or anything, but it did drop under that. Beans were back up to $14 a bushel, and they're just on a yo-yo back and forth, much like your Kansas City hard red winter wheat, which it lost pretty much what it gained on Tuesday, and it's just up one day and down the next. And if guys are trading in that, they must have ice water in their veins, because that stuff is so volatile, it can take your head off every single day. Fat cattle traded some more cattle and more everywhere, especially in the northern plains on Wednesday. And the northern plains was mostly $1 to $2 lower. Southern plains was $1 to $3 lower, but Iowa had 3,900 head confirmed on Wednesday from 137 to 138 live, and 218 dressed, which is $2 lower. Nebraska about 9,700 head, so pretty good movement. Nebraska negotiated cash on Wednesday from 137 to 138, and also 218 dressed. Kansas another 4,600, and they're up around 10,000 head for the week so far, from 135 to 137. Texas only about 600 head from 136 to 137. So your southern plains are sure $1 to $3 lower. Box beef cutout values, as I said earlier, higher again on Wednesday. The choice cuts were up $1.71 at $279.93. Selects up $2.35 at $270.98. Your slaughter, which I mentioned earlier, is not that bad. I mean, the way that these packers are talking, the guys that are out there talking to your fat cattle sellers, they're just acting like they're not hardly getting anything pushed through the plant. Well, through Wednesday, 341,000. That ain't so bad. 4,000 more than last week. Just 9,000 less than the same week a year ago, but they're getting them pushed through there. What else is going on? Ogallala livestock auction in Ogallala, Nebraska has got a big stock show special coming up here on Thursday. They've got 7,500 head, big sale, and there'll be some big reputation consignments. They've got 3 or 4 big consignments that are going to be on an in-house video there. For those of you guys that have more dollars than cents and you want to invest in some racehorses, DV Auction is going to be taking the online bids at Heritage Place Winter Mix Sale. That will be a mixture of racing quarter horses and some thoroughbreds for you guys that are looking for a barrel racing prospect or something like that. They'll have a lot of those in there. Going to have a 3-day sale, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Over 900 head of horses going to be selling there. You can go on to dvauction.com and view and bid that horse sale right there, and it doesn't cost anything to get on there and watch that sale. But I would normally be at that sale, but we've got Randall County, Texas stock show going on. My daughter's got livestock to show, so that's what we're going to be doing. But you look at your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DV Auction based on an 800-pound steer up through your middle 12 states there. Late on Wednesday, sitting at 160.55, down 63 cents, so sure coming off a little bit, but they sold better. And your best consignments of yearling feeders sold better, especially on your steers on Wednesday, and I'm going to give you some quotes here in just a minute. But OKC West, El Reno, Oklahoma, 11,300 head, continuing with big receipts in your auctions this week. Steers weighing under 750 pounds were $1 to $3 higher, like I've been saying. Your calves selling better. Your steers over 750 pounds were 2 to 3 lower, so El Reno was not one of the places where they gained ground this week, but there's several others that were. All weights of feeder heifers sold $2 to $4 lower. Your lighter weight calves $2 to $6 higher on both steers and heifers. Winter livestock, Dodge City, Kansas, 6,600 head. Yearling feeder steers and heifers steady to $3 lower, and that would be better than some of your early week sales because they were more lower than that. Steer calves $6 to $10 higher. Heifer calves $3 to $5 higher. Torrington livestock markets had a big sale, 6,700 head. It's going to be one of our biggest weeks, if not the biggest week of auction receipts that we see all year long. But at Torrington on 6,700 head, sold mostly calves $3 to $8 higher, spots as much as $12 higher, especially on your steer calves weighing in the 4s and 5s right there. But you look at this market report from Torrington Livestock Markets, Cattle Market Central there, you can see your best tested weights. 1,030 head of 5-weight steer calves, average 556 in Torrington, with a weighted average price of $202.48. That was your $12 higher right there, if you see that on the report. 910 head of your 6-weight steer calves, average $646, with a weighted average price on all the 6-weight steers in Torrington, $183.97. Wow, that would have been a stick-out deal on one load or the best consignment anybody had just a day or two ago, but that was $10 higher there. 766 head of your 7-weight steers in Torrington, average $749 at $172.13. That was only 30 cents higher than the weighted average from the previous week, and they're just not after those bigger cattle as much as they were here, late last year or earlier even this year. But Bassett, Nebraska had a sale on Wednesday. Bassett Livestock Auction had 5,500 head there. Market was steady to $9 higher, called by Federal State Market News Service. And I saw your stick out deals on your fanciest sets. Your 6-weights sold from $195.75 to $2 on the extreme stick out fancy deals. Your heavy 6-weights, 650 to 700 pounds, from $193 to $195 on your very best quotes. And your light 7-weight steers, the stick out deals sold from $180.25 to $182.50 on light 7-weight steer calves. Some individual quotes that I saw. How about Texhoma Livestock Exchange in Texhoma, Oklahoma? Ashley Nolan told me about some steers there from right there in Texhoma from Tommy and Catherine Mitchell. They sold 159 head of 892-pound steers, bring $168. They wouldn't have done that earlier in the week. And that's your feeder flash for Thursday.